Hello guys, so welcome back to the channel. Today news is a very interesting one. It gives Dangote Refinery in a global limelight. That's to say, Dangote Refinery is gradually becoming a recognized refinery in a global scale worldwide, and from the analysis, it's bigger than 10 refineries combined in Europe. And Dangote has actually changed the cycle. So instead of Nigeria exporting crude oil, is now demanding crude oil from outside the country now. That's sending back crude oil, exporting crude oil from outside places like Europe and the rest back to Nigeria. Let's take a look at it. It's a very exciting story.
Now, for our next story, we turn to Africa's biggest oil producer, Nigeria, where the continent's largest refinery is rapidly redefining global oil trade, not just in West Africa, but across markets in Europe, the United States, and West Asia. In a historic shift, the United States became a net exporter of crude to Nigeria in early 2024 for the first time ever. New data showed that in February and March last year, the U.S. exported more crude oil to Nigeria than it imported. U.S. crude exports to Nigeria were 111,000 barrels per day in February and 169,000 barrels per day in March. While the U.S. crude imports from Nigeria just over 54,000 barrels in February and 72,000 barrels per day in March. The shift was driven by two factors: a slowdown in U.S. demand due to the refinery maintenance issues, and a surge in crude requirements from Nigeria's newly operational Dangote Refinery. But before we tell you why this trade reversal is important, let's look at what the Dangote Refinery really is. Now, it's a $20 billion mega project by Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote. It is located in the Lekki Free Zone near Lagos. The operation started just last year. It has a 650,000 barrels per day capacity. The refinery is the largest in Africa and one of the largest single train refineries in the world. Now, Nigeria has long been a crude oil exporter, but had to import most of its refined fuels due to limited domestic capacity. The Dangote Refinery aims to change that, supplying the local market and cutting dependence on foreign fuel. This to kickstart operations, it required massive amounts of crude, including from the US. As per reports, this has led to the trade reversal, a temporary but symbolic shift that reflects Nigeria's bigger vision. But the Dangote Refinery is not just looking inward. It's also taking Nigerian fuel global simultaneously. And this year, it has already reached a major milestone, exporting up to 1 million tons of petrol. Now, the plant has shipped thousands of metric tons of gasoline to Asia and sent 2 consignments of jet fuel to Saudi Aramco, the world's largest oil firm. It also delivered nearly 1.7 million barrels of jet fuel to U.S. ports through 6 vessels. Now, this growth is starting to disrupt old market chains. In January, OPEC warned that Dangote's rise was beginning to shake Europe's fuel export business to Africa, a trade long valued at $17 billion per year. Now the experts believe that this long-standing supply route could soon come to an end. As of April this year, Dangote's refinery has more capacity than the 10 largest refineries in Europe combined. So a nation long dependent on fuel imports is now challenging global supply chains. And as the Dangote refinery expands its reach, Nigeria isn't just refining oil. It's redefining the rules of the global energy market.
Alright guys, so that's the story. Congratulations to Nigeria, congratulations to Africa. You see how people always traveling out looking for greener pastures. Meanwhile, we ourselves here, in Africa, we have something we can do to to at light, or rather to become into that global standard. Instead of us running outside, we bring ourselves up to suit those global standards. We shouldn't be the one giving. They should be able to also give us. Yes, and so you see us moving from this country, our youth, everyone traveling from one place to another, searching for jobs. The cycle has to change. It's time for Africans to wake up. It's time for Nigeria and every other African country to start walking into the global standard. Not every time you see now, if you watch, there are different restrictions given to black people all over the world. Why? Because we keep taking instead of giving. So I hope this narrative also like strengthen other African countries to challenge themselves. We ought to be in the global market. We ought to be the ones giving, not just always receiving. So congratulations to Nigerians, congratulations to Africa, and we hope this thing, all other African countries, like take an example from this, and like together we'll build Africa to be a great nation. All right, thank you, and see you again in our next video. Bye for now.